Hi, TinkerCAD challengers, and this is the month of December, and this particular challenge would be to create an ornament using Codeblocks. Now, something really neat about this challenge, you're actually going to make four different ornaments with the codes, but I'm only going to print out one for you. So this example is the heart design. So keep that in mind. If you really like how this one looks, this is the example of what the heart ornament looks like. I know the last time you used Codeblocks was with the fidget gyro spinner. So if you remember, if you tried that out and it was a little bit challenging, this one might be a little bit easier. If you would like to have a printout of all the codes on screen or the instructions, please let me know and I will happily print that out for you and hand it off to you. If you want to make an in-person appointment, let me know as well. My email is down at the bottom of the screen, and if you would like to do a one-on-one, I can go over the instructions and how to make the ornaments. This is throughout the whole month of December, so if you wanted to, whenever you're ready to print this out, let me know. Let me know what color as well. This color is called the rose tan, so it looks more white on screen, but it's actually like a very light beige. So if you like how this one looks, this is a rose tan. I have a variety of other colors, and just let me know if there's like a certain shade or a certain color, and I can let you know if we have it, or if you want a different shade of it, I will inform you what other shades we have of it. Going to continue the process of alternating between code blocks and 3D designs, so keep a lookout for more code blocks as we progress through the next year. I hope you enjoy making your ornaments, and let me know when they're finished. Okay, so this is going to be my opening screen. This is my name. If you do not see this page, your TinkerCAD account might take you to a different page. So what I did was I just clicked on designs, and you could see 3D designs, circuits, and code blocks. So I'm going to start with a new, and we're going to do code blocks this time. So make sure you click on code blocks, and it's going to take you to that particular page. So as you can see here, there are some activities. There are the last time we used Codeblocks, I made the gyro fidget spinner. So you can see those are up here as well. But what I'm going to do is a new design. And we're going to start with creating the variables. So like the gyro spinner before, the process of Codeblocks is you are creating different rules for your creation, and this is going to help the computer or TinkerCAD understand how to put it all together with a repeating pattern. And so generally when you want to use code blocks, you want to use this for repeating pattern designs. Like the gyro spinner had the rings as a repeating pattern. This we're going to use we're going to make an ornament, but it's going to have a repeating pattern for the ornament. So right now we're going to start with code blocks. We're going to create new object, and here we go. Create new object, and we're going to call it settings. So I'm going to rename it. Now every time you change the name of something, that's just for you to understand what's it going to be used for in the long run. So generally I'm just following the instructions that I found for this particular project, and if you do want any of these instructions printed out for you, if that's easier, then let me know. I forgot to change my name first, so I'm going to make sure I put my initials and last name, Ornament. Once again, this is just for me to know what I'm going to print out whenever you're ready to print out your ornaments. Now we're going to create a variable with that setting, plug it in, and this is going to be called copies. And we're going to put in 5 copies. Now we're going to create another variable, which will be the thickness. So this is how thick each copy is going to be when it copies. Now this is always something you can change in the long run. So just keep that in mind if you want to play around and see how these work. So I'm making another variable and calling it the trim. And we're going to use that as a 1. So these are always something you can go back and play around with in the later time. Okay, so let's go back up. Now we got this set of blocks. We're going to move on down and create another new object, and we're going to call this a source shape. And we're going to grab the repeat tool, plug it in here. That's going to be 0. Now we're going to add a shape. So I'm going to add the polygon shape. This polygon here. And I'm going to plug it in here. Now the sides, so if you don't see, so once you do that, make sure you click on this and you can see the other options here. So side 6, edge, I'm going to change it to 10, and then the steps of 3. So this is going to bevel the shape a little bit. Bevel just means rounding out the edges of the shape. So if you can look really, really close here, you can see this is a really like sharp edge feature. There we go. So I'm going to zoom in so you can see what this did. So that's what I meant by the edges are now rounded up, because it said the edge would be 10, so that's creating 10, and then the edge steps are 3, so you can kind of see 1, 2, 3. So it's around the side here. Okay, so I'm gonna put that repeat back to 0, so don't change that just yet. We'll change it pretty soon though. Okay, now I'm going to grab scaling. So now we're going to define the shape. So grab the scale, and I'm going to add the thickness in here, down here in the data, put thickness in there, and then rotate. So look for another modify, rotate around the x-axis by 90 degrees from pivot, and move by 40. Now pay attention to when it comes to all these blocks, they're going to be in the middle of the repeat. So make sure you have all of these like connected together in the middle of the repeat. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to play this. So wait, it says repeat. Just keep it. Okay, so you can see what it's doing now. It just created the shape and it kind of moved it, because remember scaling the thickness, so the thickness is what, 0.15, so that's what this polygon shape is now. And it rotated around the x-axis, but the x-axis doesn't have anything in it, but then it moved it over by 40, so you could see at the end it kind of shifted it over a little bit. So now we're going to add another repeat. So let float down here. Nope, I'm not going to connect these two. Okay, we're going to add a tube in there. So the radius is 10, wall thickness is going to be 2.5, height 10, sides will be 6, edge 0, edge steps 1. Okay, so the only thing I changed was the edges to be 6. Now I'm going to scale it, and once again I'm going to add thickness in there. So all the rest of these are going to be 1. Just make sure it plugs in there. You'll hear a little popping noise that indicates that it linked. And we're going to rotate around x-axis by 90 degrees. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add a move block, and move the x-axis by 40. So these two are pretty much similar. Now we're going to add another shape. So I'm going to just scroll down this a little bit. Same thing, going to add the repeat 0 times. I'm going to add a heart this time, so I'm grabbing the heart shape, plugging it in, and then this does not have anything to change, so once that's in, that's all you need to do for that one. I'm going to add the scale block. I change these to 0.769 for X, 0.769 for Y. Now the thickness, grabbing that data and then plug it in there. And we're going to grab that rotate around tool. So just rotate around the x-axis by 90 degrees. And a move tool and do the same thing. We're going to add that 40 into the x-axis move tool. Okay, now here's another one. Okay, so we're going to do one last shape. So all these are going to be different shapes. Okay, so just so you're aware of what's going on, we're going to add a star shape. There it is. Add the yellow star, not the blue one. Make sure it has a flat top. Pull out that menu bar. Radius is going to be 5. Inner radius is going to be 20. Inner radius percent is going to be 0.5, and the height will be 10. So that's doesn't change, it's all the same. And grab another rotate around tool. And this is going to be the Z axis by 18 degrees. Now I'm just typing it in, I'm not moving any of that. It's just a lot easier for me to just type it in. From pivot, which will be, grab one of the math locator pieces on the plane, and don't change any of that, just keep it like that. And move piece, X is going to be 1.8. Okay, and then a scale piece, change them to 0.5. Change the X to 0.5, change the Y to 0.5, and then scroll down and grab the thickness from the data settings and plug it into Z. Now we're going to add another shape to this bunch. And I'm looking for the round roof shape. So this is what the round roof shape is. I'm going to grab the round roof shape and plug it in underneath the scale code. And then I'm going to find a rotate option. Okay, and then next we're going to add another scale block to this one. Let me grab it, plug it in there. Okay, this one's going to change. X will be 0.25, Y will be 3. And then here's where we're going to add one of those double block scenarios. So you want to grab out this one. Okay, and we're going to scroll down, grab the thickness, plug it into the first one. We're going to find the divide, which is going to be the last one on this list. Type in 2. Okay, now this block is all set up. We're going to click and drag this and put it into the Z axis. You can kind of see it plugged itself in, so that's what you want to look for. Now we're going to grab the move tool, or the move modify. Now that we have the move in, we're going to change this move to the X will still be 0, Y will be changed to 6.5, and the Z will stay the same as 0. Okay, now we're going to find the create group block, and that was under the modify. And we're going to look for the rotate around, grab the rotate block and plug it in. The X axis by 90 degrees from pivot, and we're going to grab this locator block. Now we're going to change this to, the X will be 5, the Y and the Z will stay the same as 0, and we're going to look for another move block, plug that in, and the X will be 40, while the Y and the Z will stay 0. So we have set up all the shapes, but it's just a matter of which one you want to actually see printed out or use. We'll come back to that in a second. We're going to create the cap and the loop right now. And this is just to properly hang the ornament. You know, most ornaments, when you get one of those round like ball ornaments, they have that little silver cap with like a little thin loop that you just tie the hook through, and that's what helps hang the ornament. So we're going to do that for this one. Now we're going to grab a create new object modifier, and this one is going to be named cap. So I am renaming this variable right now. So I want to add now the cylinder shape to this. And open this up, and then I'm going to change this radius to 3, size to 6, edge to 64, edge to 1, and then edge steps to 24. I apologize. This is apparently the internet might be out now, so or something is going on. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'll worry about it when I can't open it up. So when I can't open up the file, so I'm just going to hang tight. Let's see what happens. Okay, then we have move, and we're going to change the z-axis to 3. Everything else can stay 0. Okay. So it looks like a little round, kind of like a eraser to me. That's what it looks like. Okay, now we're going to add a box shape. Okay, now we're going to add a box. Let's go up here, add the box underneath the move. Make sure it clicks in. And this one is going to be a hole, so we want to click on the gray stripe button to select it, and we're going to make sure that the width is 20, length is 20, height should be 3. Type in 3. Edge is 0, edge steps is 10, and now we're going to find a move block, move modifier, plug that in there, and this is going to be X and Y are going to be 0, and then Z is going to be 1.5. And then we're going to find then we're going to group them. So we're going to group this object, and this will be solid. So we're going to make sure the rainbow is striped, or if it's a solid color, just make sure that's selected. Now I'm going to find the move block, plug that in, and this is going to be X and Y will be 0, Z will be 15. So yes, this one's 1.5, this one's 15. Now we're going to add a torus shape. So I'm grab the torus, and you don't have to open that, just leave it like it is. And I'm going to grab the scale block, plug that in, and then change them all to 0.25. So 0.25x, 0.25y, 0.25z. So that's all 0.25. And then I'm going to rotate this. And this should be rotate around the axis X by 90 degrees. Another move modifier. X and Y should be 0, and then Z will be 22. So make sure to type in 22 for that one. And now we're going to create that as a group. I just played it real quick to see. Now the cap is formed up there, so you can see what that looks like. So in the very beginning, we created a source shape. Now we're going to use this source shape as a way to create the rotating pieces of the ornament. So this is what we're going to do, create new object, and we're going to change this to rotated. Type in rotated, and now I'm going to find the count width button and plug that in. So where it says count with a number here, you want to change that to I from 1 to, we're going to scroll down and find the data of copies, plug it in there by 1. And now we're going to add more stuff in between. So we're going to add a copy of an object, plug it in, and it says we have to put in something for right there. We're going to put in source shape. So I scroll down to the data, grab source shape, put in there. And it's going to be solid, so make sure whatever color or rainbow is on the left, click on that. Scroll back up to the move, plug that in, and we're going to change this. So X is going to be -40, Y is going to be 0, Z will be 0. And then we're going to find the rotate, add that. So it's going to be rotate around axis Z, so we have to change this to Z. And we have a arithmetic block we have to do. So I'm going to grab the arithmetic block, which is the one with the 2 zeros, and then there's usually like a counting device in between. So I'm going to type in 180 for the first one, change the plus to divide, and then I'm going to grab the data. I'm going to grab the copies and plug it in there. Now I'm going to grab a second arithmetic one, and I'm going to leave the 0 for now. I'm going to change the plus to multiply. And then this, I'm going to plug in the I from the data, put it in there. Now I'm going to grab the first arithmetic, plug it into the second one where the 0 was, and now I'm going to grab this whole bunch and plug it where it says 90. So the whole thing should read out rotate around axis Z by 180 divided by copies multiplied by I degrees from pivot. And then we're going to find the delete object tool. So I'm scrolling up in the modifiers, grabbing that and plugging it outside of the orange piece. So make sure it's on the outside. Scroll down again and add the source shape. Plug it in that way. So delete object should be a source shape. Okay, this set of blocks is done. So I'm going to play it just to see what it looks like. Okay. So we're getting there. I think we have to make sure it moves. Double check though. I think maybe I did something to make sure I didn't do anything wrong. So where it says move, I am mistaken. I said x is -40, y and z should be 0. Z actually has to be 10, so change that to 10. Now I'm going to play again and see. There we go. So now the cap and the hook or eye is sitting on top of the ornament. So we're almost done. So one last step. This is just to delete all the access data from your ornament. So what we're going to do is create a new object, change this to, rename it to Ornament, hit OK, and we're going to add a copy of the object, and down here grab the rotated data, plug that in. It's solid, so make sure the rainbow or color is selected, and then another copy of the add copy of the object. I may mess it up, I'm deleting it. Add a copy of an object. So add a copy of object and cap and make sure that's selected as a solid. Now we're going to scroll back up and find the box. So let's grab a box. This part of this set of blocks, this is just to clean up the ornament a little bit so it could print out very well. What I'm making is 2 squares that are going to like shave off the tops and bottoms so that you can also set the ornament down and it shouldn't roll off anywhere. Okay, so when I add a box, make sure the box is a hole. So this is going to guarantee it's going to take off the tops and bottom of it. Width is 20, length is 20, H. We're going to scroll down to the data, grab trim, and put trim in the H section. Edge is 0, edge steps are 10. I'm going to scroll back up to the move modifier, add that in, and move X and Y will be 0. I'm going to grab an arithmetic block, scroll down a little bit. So in the first 0, we're going to add trim from the data divided by 2. So enter in 2. And now we're going to take this block and enter it into the Z setting. Now I'm going to create group. Okay, so now this is all set up. Now I just have to add the delete object so you don't see this after it's done. So delete object, I'm going to go down and add the rotated in there. Delete object, going to go down again, add cap. Okay, and then the scale, grab scale modifier, put that in, and X is going to be 3, Y will be 3, and Z will be 3 as well. Let's play it. Whoa, excellent. So this is what the ornament's going to look like in this setting. This is for the polygon shape. So if you want to see what the other ones look like, what I would do is change this to 0. So I'm changing the polygon, repeat to 0. I'm going up here, I'm changing the repeat to 1 for the tube. And I'm going to play it and you'll see what happens. So this is really neat. So the tube actually, what it did was it actually made, that's kind of the same ornament design, except everything on the inside is see-through. And when I forgot to mention with the shaved ends, this is what the shaved ends look like. So this is what that last segment we did to help make it stand straight. Changing that to 0, and I'm going to see what the heart looks like. So this is pretty pretty. It looks like a little acorn to me. So, but it's a really neat shape. It's pretty. Change that to 0, and now I'm going to see what the star looks like. So in the repeat, I'm putting 1 where it says 0, and with that. Okay. So star's pretty cool too. Okay, so this is what each individual shape looks like. So it's kind of nice. You get 4 options here. Now I'm only going to print out 1, but if you want to purchase more, you're welcome to. It's $1 an ounce per any 3D print. So if I would have to see how much these would cost when they are printed. I'm guessing they'd be around maybe $2 or $3 each. So keep that in mind. You can always print out extras if you want to, hand them out to family and friends. I hope you enjoyed Codeblocks making ornaments. If you need this printed out, please let me know. I could print out this whole entire setup so that if you just want to follow along by paper, it's a lot easier to have it right in front of you. Then I can do that. I can help you out with that. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this Codeblocks TinkerCAD challenge, and I look forward to seeing what you all come up with.